Hi everyone, TJ the RC guy here, and I have a little 3-month update on my Axial Scx10.2 raw builder's kit, and I've had a major issue with it. I'll get into that in a minute. First, I want to go over some changes. The first most obvious one is I went back to my Jeep Rubicon body, and the reason for that is this honcho body doesn't clear my Swamper XL tires, and I wanted to use my smaller Swampers for my Barrage. So that's the first thing. I was also able to get my Scx10.2 luggage rack on there with a light bar, so that's pretty nice. You can see the interior. I did have to re-glue all this in because I had cut it out for my honcho body. Oh well, it looks fine. You can't really tell. Now, underneath, another reason I used the new body, or perhaps my old body, the Rubicon, is because I moved these shock towers forward 1 notch and leaned the suspension by flipping the towers around so that these line up with the Jeep body, and at the same time I have a steeper angle on my shocks so that I could take and put the stiffer springs from the front on the rear and vice versa. So add a little preload to the front, have the stiffer springs in the rear leaned so they're softened a bit, and I also limited it a little bit so they don't rub on the body near as bad. They were rubbing so bad it was jamming up. And then same on the front, they're limited just a little bit. Now, issues I've had with it. So, of course, like all Scx10.2s, the links are starting to stretch out and get real sloppy. My servo I've had for about 2 years now, this Spectrum S623 or X6230. After 2 years, it finally stripped a gear, so I got to get some gears for it. So, in the meantime, I'm using a different servo, but this is a lower profile servo, so it cleared the Panhard. This Tactic, I think it's a Tactic, I'm not 100% sure, it could be a Savox, was hitting real bad. So I had to switch the link to the bent link end, so now it moves just fine. I just rebuilt the shocks, so the green slime was sticking a little bit there. But yeah, you put the bent end on that side. I put one on that side too to help clear the pumpkin. It still hits, but not near as bad, and it doesn't hit the servo horn anymore. You also want to space this so that the two links line up, and that's pretty much it. Now, the major issue I've had is this rear axle housing. Now, Horizon claims they didn't change the plastic formula, but I don't believe them. I think they went to ECX plastic. Because after about 3 months, well, maybe 2.5, it started slipping really bad. The diff gear actually has damage from it. This is the gear that was in there. You can see on the teeth, it was just barely grabbing them, and then it started slipping. There, you can see the damage. So, Horizon Hobby sent me some new diff gears, and I put them in. They also sent some new bearings. I put those in, and guess what? As soon as I'd roll these tires, it'd pop and slip and have all sorts of problems. Well, what it was is this axle housing has stretched. Inside, it's sloppy now. So, what I had to do is go in there and shim this gear right here. I had to put a pretty thick washer behind it, right there, in between the bearing, to where I could just barely get the drive line on. And now you can see there's no in and out play or nothing. And it ain't slipping no more. But the initial thing that Horizon had done is sent me some axle housings. I haven't used them yet. What's the point? They're going to just stretch out. But I am thinking about using them on my ECX Barrage. So if anyone out there happens to have a diff gear, this one's usable, I'm pretty sure. But if you happen to have a diff gear set and the rear internal axle you could send me or hook me up with, I can get those going on my Barrage and we can check that out. Anyways, back to this. The next issue is these CVDs. Look at the play. Look at the hole there. I'm not sure how well you guys can see it, but it's already squared off. So the company, again, very nice. I'm happy they helped. Sent me some new ones, so when these break, or if I end up using them on my Barrage or whatnot, I have some. So that's it for this update on the SCX10. Set it down out of the way. Next, we'll talk about the Barrage Doomsday. And as you can see, here's where my smaller tires went. I put them on here, and I've done a couple things to this. Basically, the main thing is the new tires. I took my Jeep body off and put this back on just for performance, and I like the way it looks. It just looks cool. So, I've got good flex. I have the shocks on the highest setting. I flipped the shocks so they no longer leak, and a little bit more weight low. Go underneath. You can see what I've done here. It looks like a mess, but trust me, it works. And let's see, what else? Oh yeah, CMS and Panhard. And then to clear this body, the company at first, these tires hit real bad. And I mean stock tires hit really bad. So, you can see now, they don't. Underneath, I lengthened the front end a little bit. Took some plastic nuts in between the link end and lengthened it just enough that it doesn't hit. So, I'm going to get some running video of this soon. And I'm going to try to go up the hill at least, maybe even today if the weather holds out. It's been pretty nasty. You guys seen snow, rain, you name it. So that's this. Okay, so next little update is on my Ventura V100. I went and got some nice drift wheels and tires. I think they look pretty sick on there. So now I can actually get out and start drifting my Ventura V100 a little bit. And part of the reason I took it out in the snow was because I had the hard rubber tires on. So I figured, what the hell, why not? And it did really good, really. I mean, the snow would pile up underneath naturally, and I'd have to knock it out, or I'd have to knock it out of the body because it'd get so full it couldn't turn anymore. But really, for what it is, it was awesome. I was able to drift and have some pretty good fun. And then today, my new drift tires come in, so if the weather holds out again, I'll try to get some good drift footage for you. And that's pretty much it for the update on my rigs. I'll talk to y'all later. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.